everybody, welcome back. It's Imoitinya. As always, I want to say thank you for your support. Let's jump right into it. We're going to be looking at two stories today. The first story is of a man by the name Mr. Ramona Bass. Now, I don't know if you guys follow the story, but it broke out in 2020 and it's just a follow-up of that particular story. Now, Mr. Ramon was known to be a notorious Instagram influencer. The problem is he was actually scamming people and flaunting the scamilization. He was flaunting the property that he had bought with people's money on the internet, and so he got caught, right? So we're going to be talking about the sentencing and also a little bit about his past life. The second story is a remarkable and uplifting and also a sad story, and it's of a young man or of a fisherman in Tanzania who rescued about 24 passengers after the Precision airplane had crashed in Lake Victoria. So we're going to be talking about both stories, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. So on your screen, you're looking at Mr. Ramona Bass. Mr. Ramona Bass is a 40-year-old Nigerian man who, as I shared with you, was known to be a notorious Instagram influencer. And my name for him is professional fraudster. And this man is not afraid to flaunt his wealth, or was not afraid to flaunt his wealth. Though he would flaunt things like private jets, luxurious cars, expensive watches, designer bags, and also designer cakes as well. So, you know, as my mother always say, every day for the thief, one day for the owner. And that day came in June of 2020. Mr. Abbas was arrested in Dubai. When detective actually showed up in his residence, I want to share with you some of the things that they confiscated or things that they found that they took from his residence. And some of these things were 40 million in cash, 13 luxurious cars, 21 laptops, 47 smartphones, and 800,000 emails from potential victims. Yeah, that's exactly what they found. So now the thing about the story is this part of it. Two imams from Nigeria sent letters to the judge in the Los Angeles judge, right? And they were pleading with the judge to actually give Mr. Abbas a lesser sentence. Because Mr. Abbas did not only eat alone, he had people that he was taking care of, which include orphans as well as widows. You know, so the imam are saying that, you know, this guy, even though he was stealing people's money, he wasn't a bad guy really, because he took care of his own people. Mr. Abbas' wife also shared that she can no longer afford to put her kids in private school because her husband has been obviously incarcerated. Now, what I'm saying is, you know, I host a show called On the Bench. And On the Bench is about stories of everyday people who, despite series of life challenges, choose to inspire other people. Now, when Mr. Abbas gets out of prison, he's going to be 51 years old because he's currently 40, right? And I'm saying to myself that at the age of 51, I would love to interview Mr. Abbas, because I'm hoping that when he gets out of prison, he will start helping investigators to find other fraudsters. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, I think that he would know how to do this well because he was in the game, you know. Now, the reason why I say this is that have you seen the movie Catch Me If You Can? In the movie Catch Me If You Can, that's actually a true biography of a man by the name Mr. Frank Abagnale. That's his last name. Mr. Frank Abagnale is known to be a reowned cybersecurity and fraud expert, but this was what he is today. What he used to be was somebody who goes out and rob the system and rob people. So it's quite a remarkable movie if you have not seen it yet. So I'm thinking that Mr. Abbas can actually be the Nigerian version of that. To be honest with you, helping, because the scamilization in Nigeria is a situation that can send somebody. They can run you mad. If you've ever been scammed by Nigerians or be scammed at all in life, it's a thing that you just think, you go crazy, because it happened to me and I know what it is that I'm speaking about. So I'm hoping that Mr. Abbas can actually come out of prison, still very young. He's going to miss out a chunk of his life, his kid's life, but he can still go out and live a fulfilled life, you know. And Mr. Abbas is also he's also subject to pay. They've asked him to pay over $1 million, which he owed two of his victims, right? One of the things he did was he pretended to help somebody build a school, and he went as far as creating a website for this person. After he's collected the money, he never built the school, and so they've asked him to pay those monies back. So there's two people that he scammed, and it's a little bit over $1 million. Now the thing about this is Mr. Abbas wrote a letter to the judge, obviously thanking them or pleading them or admitting to what he's done. He also stated that he only made $300,000 from the whole deal. Obviously that's a fat lie, right? And then he mentioned, he went ahead to say that he's going to pay these people out of his personal account. My thing is, since he's talking about personal account, I'm having a feeling that there's a couple of monies that are buried in a village somewhere in Nigeria. Because when this guy come out, he's still going to have money. I just have a feeling that yeah. He reminds me of Pablo. That's what this guy reminds me of. But anyways, we'll see what happens. We'll all be here when he gets out. But he's been sentenced. But I want to open it up to you to hear your viewpoint on the subject matter. So moving on to my next story, I'm going to put a picture up of this incredible man who saved 24 lives. This was after a precision airplane had crashed in Tanzania on Sunday, November 7th. 19 people has been pronounced dead so far, but this remarkable man actually saved 24 lives, and his name is Mr. Jackson Majaliwa. Mr. Jackson Majaliwa. Mr. Jackson Majaliwa is a fisherman. Now, his action was blown away, obviously, by the president of the country, President Samia Suluhu, who decided that Mr. Jackson be recruited into the firefighting and rescued brigade. This is indeed an incredible story, and he was also awarded $1 million. Excuse me, I wish it was $1 million. He was also awarded a million Tanzanian shillings. Now, I feel as though this is a type of story that really reminds us of how good of a nature we are, you know, how we should continue to serve and help others. And I think that he did this without thinking he was going to get anything in return. And here he goes, sleeping or waking up as a fisherman, but going to bed as a man serving in an important part of a government department. So it's a great story, guys, but I want to open it up to you. Don't forget to subscribe, click on the notification bell to be the first to receive any new content. I'll see you again next time.